Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Open Line. I'm here with Mayor Briley, 2.5 weeks away from the election here in Davidson County. And we're taking your phone calls tonight. That's what Open Line is all about. So we're going to get right to it. Mary's been waiting ever so patiently. Hi, Mary.
Hello, how are you?
I am great. Go ahead.
Okay, when we talk about education, one, I appreciate that was the first thing that Mayor Briley stated was the public's concern. But Mayor Briley, I really want to just get a clear understanding of how would you define a quality public education, and what steps do you see Nashville, or in what ways do you see Nashville moving to assure that every scholar in the city of Nashville has access to quality public education?
Okay, very good. I'm going to hang up on you, Mary, so you can listen to your TV for the answer here. Thank you for calling in, by the way.
So I would define a quality public education as an education that gives every young person the opportunity to reach their greatest potential. And that's going to mean different things for different young people. Some, the valedictorian at Hillsborough this year is going to Yale. We have lots of students who are going to want to do something technical or get an associate's degree, and each and every one of those children should have the opportunity to reach that level. Right now, when we look at our public schools, what we see is that you can go from school to school and see that the opportunity to be successful differs based on the school. Some schools have better resources because the parents are more engaged or perhaps making more money and able to contribute more. Some of the schools have better leadership, and some have less turnover when it comes to the teachers. And so my perspective is that we got three things we really need to do to improve the quality of public education in Nashville. First, we need to have a better plan about how we're going to address literacy, because our third grade reading is really low, about 27% read at grade level. And what they say is that up to third grade, you're learning how to read. After third grade, you're reading to learn. So if you can't read in third grade, you're not going to be able to learn after that. And so we got a real challenge in that regard. Secondly, culture is not the greatest in all of our schools. So we want every teacher and every child to go to school in a happy environment where they love to go to school and where they're learning. And so there's some culture things that need to happen there. Both of those things, I'm working with Dr. Battle, the new director, to try and see some progress on it and a plan for how we're going to make those improvements. The third thing is resources. And I know that we're going to need to get more money for teacher pay, because it's not structured in the right way, and it also is inadequate in many respects. And I've asked Dr. Battle and the board and her administration to come up with a comprehensive pay plan, an assessment of salaries, and a way to move forward in that regard. And I'm committed to finding the resources over the next couple of years, 3 years, to get that fully funded. So right now we have some schools in our city that are not successful, and but at the same time we have schools that are very, very successful, and I think it's important for us to acknowledge both those things and make progress where we need to.
At the end of Dr. Joseph's tenure, you stepped in and said, I am going to be more involved with this school board, with this school system. Things are just out of control. Dr. Battle is now in place. Can you talk about what your role is now as you see moving forward? Sure.
So she and I met this morning to talk about the direction of the district, and we have drafted a memorandum of understanding that sort of lays out what I'm going to do to get increased funding to the district, and what the district needs to do to improve the quality of the outcomes for students, and to address some of the inequities in the pay structure that they currently have. I've been to dozens of schools since I became mayor, and I've seen the good and the bad, and I will continue to do that and be in schools as much as I possibly can, because I think it's an important way for me to just sort of appreciate exactly what is going on. I went to, I think, 6 graduations this year, 5 or 6 graduations, and stood in the line and shook hands with hundreds and hundreds of students graduating, and see the potential that they all have to be successful. And I just want to make sure we're maximizing that in our city.
Do you have confidence in Dr. Battle?
I do. I mean, I think she has got a good head on her shoulders. She's a hard worker. She is deliberate. It's a hard job.
Yeah.
The hardest job in the city by many measures. And I want to support her and see her be successful.
Okay, let's go to Stacy here. Stacy, thank you for calling in tonight. What's your question for the mayor?
Hi, I'm going to try to be brief, so please don't cut me off.
Oh, sure.
I saw the mayor back in November at a public meeting, and he indicated that if I called his office, I would get some attention paid to a couple of matters, actually two or three matters at that time. And it didn't happen, and I called the last time he was on the program and tried to bring that to his attention, and he said, let them know, call again, let them know that you were on open line, and they, you know, it'll be addressed. And it wasn't, and I I called again after the candidates' debate. The mayor wasn't there that evening, but I did tell Ben Hall that you know, there had not been any follow-up. And all this is to say that two of these matters involved the quasi-relationship that Metro government has with MTA, and I did want to pursue those. The third one involved a vacancy on the library board, and that is an appointment that the mayor makes. And that office had been vacant for 2 months at the point that I had spoken about this again, and then shortly after I did hear from the mayor's office, from Patrick over there, indicating that the vacancy had been filled. But I just felt like that was not, you know, if it had been open for 2 months, and it's really important to me that I have some input on some of the decisions that are being made, because the funding is such that it falls in two different categories, and the library would like to have that done differently, and I think the mayor can expound on that. But I really would like to have some input with one of his staffers or himself. Either way, an appointment would be great. And during an election cycle, it probably would be an employee, and that's fine.
Okay. Obviously,
Sure.
you know, you work for the citizens, and
Yeah.
folks want to get a hold of you and others. What is the best way? How can people actually do that?
Well, two things. First, there is a new platform called the Hub, hub.nashville.gov. And so if it's a specific issue about your trash not getting picked up, or a pothole, or brush that needs to be removed, go to hub.nashville.gov or call 311, because that's the easiest way for us to manage those issues. And you actually can go online and sort of monitor our response to it and see when it's getting from one place to another. Now, if she wants to email me, mayor@nashville.gov, mayor@nashville.gov.
Do you actually get those emails, or is it somebody else?
They don't come directly to me, but I see virtually all. I see all the ones that are not spam. I do get some spam to that.
Sure.
But all the ones that have a specific request, I tend to see. So that would be the best way to get in touch with me.
Okay. Good luck, Stacy. Let's go to Kenny here. Hi, Kenny. You're on the line with the mayor. Kenny, are you with us?
Yes.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I was wondering what the mayor's strategy was for more affordable housing for Nashville.
Okay, Kenny, I'm gonna hang up on you, so listen to your TV to hear that answer, okay? Thanks for calling in, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I believe that we've got serious issues with housing affordability in Nashville. Of course, it means something different to everybody, what it means to be affordable. What I announced just a few weeks ago, I guess 2 months ago now, was a plan called Under One Roof 2029, and that's the city's biggest ever investment in affordable housing. And it's going to be $500 million, $500 million over the next 10 years to build thousands of new units of housing that is attainable, affordable for folks who live in Nashville. Above and beyond that, we're calling on the private sector to help us get more housing built here in Nashville that's affordable, and we've made a little bit of progress on that, and we'll continue to push to see more.
How do you entice the private sector to do this, though, and to keep rents controlled, keep those, you know, I mean, it's just, they're out there to make a profit, too. It's part of doing business.
They are. So, for example, a university could go build graduate student housing on land that they own. And that investment keeps those graduate students from moving out into the surrounding area and tends to keep rents down in the surrounding area. So we expect that some of the universities here in Middleton, in Nashville, will be doing that to help us. There are a couple of other things that are out there. So just at the corner of Dickerson Pike and Briley Parkway, just a couple of months ago, we cut didn't cut the ribbon. We broke ground,
Did the dirt
broke
digging.
dirt on a new project that is out there, and it's about 261 units. That is going to be affordable for people at 60% of the area median income or less, and it's got what's called a payment in lieu of tax. So basically, for the time period that the private sector is making that housing affordable, attainable, they wouldn't pay the full property taxes on that property. So that's one of the ways that we incentivize the private sector. Another way is that, and this is what's taking a little bit longer, is that we believe a lot of the foundations and companies here in Nashville and private donors are willing to help us with what's called a real estate investment trust. That's going to go out and build workforce housing here in Middle Tennessee. And then the final thing on the private sector side is that one of the reasons we got into such a crunch on housing was that we had a period of 5 or 6 years or longer where we really didn't build much after the recession. So there really wasn't much constructed. And so supply got low and rents went up. So we're seeing a lot more construction now of multifamily housing in the core of the city, and that will help us as well with affordability. So there's not one thing to be done to address it, but we've taken a big first step. We know there's more that needs to be done, and we'll continue to work on it.
How willing is the private sector at this point to get involved? How much arm twisting are you doing?
Well, it's really more about working through the logistics of it than it is arm twisting. There is a fair amount of interest in helping on this, and it is really more about getting people comfortable with how it would work and getting the logistics worked out. We have banks in town that are interested in participating as well because they have what's called a community reinvestment obligation, and so they are willing to help us on the affordable housing side in that context.
Okay, Kenny, hopefully that answered your question. We do have to take another quick break. We have Lucy and Troy and Wayne on the line and a few more, so stay where you are. We're coming right back.